use Ouija boards?
Nah, I don't mess with them.
Not at all.
No, I don't.
So if me and you went out and we couldn't arrange to have us do a Ouija board session together somewhere?
Probably not. I'm gonna be honest with you, probably not. I don't. That's something I don't even want to mess with.
I was fortunate to be a guest on the House of Dell, hosted by Dell Arledge. This episode of Searchercast is my appearance on this show. Be sure to subscribe to their channel on Rumble, where they talk about paranormal, cryptids, conspiracy theories, politics, and other weird topics. Join us as our conversation helps draw us closer to the truth. What evidence will the truth searchers find this time? Welcome to the Searchercast, sponsored by Greenville Ghost Tours. My name is Gabe Mathews, certified paranormal investigator and founder of the Truth Searchers, Paranormal Investigators. Join myself and the Truth Searchers as we share our encounters, investigations, and all things paranormal.
We're good now?
Yeah, we good. Sorry about that.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the House of Dell. We got a good one today. I hope we maybe give it about a minute and see if more people's going to show up. I'm hoping they will. Got a good little interview today, I hope, for everybody. Hope everybody's had a good day today. Looking forward to this, getting this going, and you never know what comes out of it.
Hang on. We got to...
What's wrong?
Me. I'm closed out. I do I what's supposed to close out. Okay. But I mean, we're up. We're
okay,
live.
all right. Today I got a guest from the Truth Searchers Paranormal Investigators out of Greenville, South Carolina. It's Mr. Gabe Mathews.
Hey, Dell. Excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you coming in and doing this interview for us.
Of course, anytime.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give you the floor here. You go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the investigation in the paranormal.
Sure. My name's Gabe Mathews. I feel like I came out of the womb investigating the paranormal. From a young age, I was very into paranormal. I watched a lot of Casper the Friendly Ghost. I had VHSs of it, and I loved it. And I remember my father took me to Disney World in Florida, and all I wanted to do was ride the Haunted Mansion ride over and over and over again. And he's like, oh, let's go see the rest of the park. And I'm like, no, I just want to stay and ride the Haunted Mansion. When I got older, I went back to Disney World, and the Haunted Mansion ride is still the best thing in that park. I had a paranormal experience as a child. I used to sleepwalk as a kid. And I don't know how old I was, but going to bed in your bed and then waking up in a different location is kind of terrifying in and of itself. Basically, I went to bed in my bed. I woke up out in the living room, and as I did, I swear I saw an apparition on the wall. And basically, I blinked, and it was gone. But not only that, I smelled smoke, like cigar smoke. And no one in the house smoked any, cigarettes or anything. I was frightened, and I remember I ran back to my room. I told my mom about this, and she said, oh, your grandfather used to smoke cigars a lot. He was dead before I was even born, so I was kind of attributed to be my grandfather looking over me. But yeah, I've always been in the paranormal, and I watched a lot of the early paranormal investigation shows, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and whatnot. And I never even thought about myself being a paranormal investigator, even though I've been into it a lot. But I met a guy back in, it was about 2013 in Greenville. He was a paranormal investigator. I was like, oh man, I'd love to do that. And he invited me out, started paranormal investigating, and he moved to Atlanta, and I kind of lost touch with him. I probably haven't talked to him in a long time. But once he moved, I thought, I'm going to start my own team. So I started the Truth Searchers, and we've kind of been investigating probably over 10 years, probably 12, 13 years now. We try to do an investigation once a month. If someone sends me a message or has a haunting in their home or anything to investigate, then we go and do that as well.
It's interesting you mentioned something about the sleepwalking. My brother used to sleepwalk, and I had an incident of sleepwalking. I about got killed. My family was out camping out in Helen, Georgia, and they used to have these thing called Squirrel's Nest. You had these little platforms that's just basically built on the side of a mountain. And I thought I was getting up, going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I fell off of it. Rolled down the hill. My daddy wouldn't have caught me. I don't know what would have happened. I'd rolled all the way down the hill. My cousin was sleepwalking.
Were you camping?
Yeah, it was called the Squirrel's Nest at Helen, Georgia. It's basically just wooden platforms built on the side of a mountain. the platform will come out with legs under it and just on the side of the mountain. I don't know why they built them like that. I have no idea, but our whole family would go over every year. And I remember that because I thought I was awake, but everybody said I was asleep.
But see, you have a consciousness of like, felt like you were going to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
When I sleepwalked, I wouldn't even remember it. A couple times I got woken up. I used to do it all the time. And one time I remember I was going out to the living room, and my father would always say I'd be talking a lot in gibberish. And he said I always do my hands like this, and I'd be very serious. But he said I would never be making sense. And I remember one time I woke up in the process of doing that. At the time, I don't have any memory of actually doing the sleepwalking. It's like I'm doing these things while I'm sleeping. But I grew out of it. I haven't done it since I was a kid.
My brother, when he was sleepwalking, he wouldn't remember what he'd done when he'd done it. My uncle would too. They caught him doing some crazy stuff, which I can't get into right now on that. But he wouldn't remember any of it either.
I find it interesting you said that about the smell, because after my mom passed, I would smell her perfume, and even my daughter, my mom passed almost 10 years before my daughter was born, and my daughter would smell that perfume as well.
A lot of people report disembodied smells of loved ones. Perfume is a very common one, especially like when people say, we don't use any of that in the house. And then, like you said, your mother or some relative had a specific perfume or smell that would show up at these places. So it's definitely a disembodied smell is a sign of some paranormal activity.
Well, you've already answered my next question about how long you have been investigating. You've already answered that, so we'll go ahead and get to the next one. You also investigate demonic activity?
I guess so. If someone says they have a demon in their house, we'll go and investigate, but that's not my area of expertise. Once we're definitive that it is demonic, I'll reach out to someone who kind of is more of a demonologist. I am not a demonologist. Now, there's been times where someone said, I have like a demon in my house, and we'll go investigate, and we've found that it's probably more likely to be a poltergeist than a demonic entity. If we find out that it is demonic, I've been in contact with a couple people who are demonologists. I haven't really done a case where I had to call them in, but yeah, you could definitely reach out to me and we can investigate it. But once we figure out it's demonic, we can call a demonologist or even a priest or whatever denomination that the person is of religious origin to come in and help with that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really mess with the demons and nothing like that. I just leave it to the experts on that. You tell me you got demons, I say that's not me.
I wouldn't mind becoming a demonologist. I just haven't really got that far in my area of expertise. That's not where my expertise is. But someday I can study and learn to become a demonologist.
Yeah. Now, in your investigations, have you ever had anything attached to you or like follow your home?
Yes. To my vehicle, actually, I feel I got a dark passenger inside my car. And we did some smudging rituals. I contacted my shaman. We kind of got some methods to try to get out, but it infiltrated my vehicle. I did everything, went and took it to car wash, tried to do some prayers, and did everything we could. Had some experts to do. We did like a ritual, and I just kept having issues with the car. And then I ended up selling the car. It might be someone else's problem. Now, I don't know, ethically, is it okay? By law, you don't have to say that there's a dark passenger or an entity inside of your vehicle if you sell a car. But yeah, I once I got rid of that car, it seemed better. I've had other minor stuff, but that was the big one because I kept having car trouble and it would be making noises and whatnot. Yeah.
I had a car that would do that, and I just said I had enough of this, and I got rid of it.
We got it at Crybaby Bridge. That was where I think I got the attachment.
I think ours was bought with the car. It come with the car when I bought it. I was like, this thing.
So yeah, the person selling it didn't say anything about that.
No,
by law, you don't really have to say that there was a entity or an attachment.
I knew the price was too good to be true, and I shouldn't have got it. But I said, well, I'm gonna get this, and yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. What do you do before you go on these hunts? Protect yourself or whatever before you go on them?
We smudge. For those who don't know, smudging is the act of burning sacred herbs for spiritual cleansing in order to cleanse an area of negative energy. I'll use Palo Santo or white sage. You can smudge with other things. Go out and find some pine or even candles. If you had a lavender candle. I have a couple people that are more into the metaphysical and energy healing and stuff. I'll message them if I have any issues or whatnot. But yeah, usually a good smudging before and then after helps.
Okay. Let's talk about your equipment. What kind of equipment do you use, if you don't mind?
If you watch the shows on TV, I probably either have the device or want to get it. Oviluses, I have an Ovilus SLS camera, spirit boxes, multiple spirit boxes, multiple types of EMF detectors, cat balls. I recently bought this Kestrel instrument, and this kind of monitors different weather things, and I can't remember all the stuff it does. Let's see if I can turn it on real quick. It'll measure like barometric pressure, and I think it has temperature. Let's see, there's a whole bunch of stuff it does. It's good for like a baseline test. If you have any paranormal things happen, you can see what's going on. I think the batteries might be dead. But yeah, this is my new Kestrel device. I have a lot of stuff. Audio recorders.
Yeah.
I got a FLIR. I don't know what model this is. This one goes to a smartphone. I have another FLIR. I have laser grid.
Which one do you like using the best?
EMF detector, rugged, robust, portable, powerful, easy to use. A K2 meter or a MEL meter. Always bring a flashlight. That's one of my rules of paranormal investigating.
How can you tell if it's really something there or something not there? Like a false positive or a false negative?
Usually on a paranormal investigation, I'll be recording multiple ways. I'll have multiple cameras set up. We'll have multiple audio devices. We'll have multiple paranormal devices. And really, it's corroborating all the devices. So just because a cat ball goes off doesn't mean it's a paranormal thing. But if a cat ball goes off and the laser grid has an anomaly and multiple things that can corroborate. Looking at the video later, and if you can't debunk it, then it's unexplained. If there's an anomaly that you can't debunk, then it's an unexplained thing and outside of science, therefore paranormal. There's been many times where in the moment you think, oh wow, we captured some really good evidence, and then later someone will be like, oh, that was a bug or something. We'll go out and do a whole investigation and feel like we didn't get anything, and then we go back and review the footage, and there was an EVP that was distinct. They clearly answered it. One investigation, it's like, oh man, we didn't get anything, but we had some of the best evidence that we just didn't know in the moment. And it's only reviewing the footage later, which is sometimes the most tedious thing, is just reviewing hours and hours of footage and audio to find that anomaly or that piece of evidence that is key to your investigation.
I'm sure that does get kind of tedious, all that evidence you have to go through.
I'm hoping now with AI, and I haven't really looked into it, but I was hoping that there's some program that you can upload a video or audio and it can kind of go through and find some anomalies, or it could just cut out all the silence and then just have the sound bites and you can listen to see. My hope is that we can speed up that process a little bit. If you have AI that's programmed specifically for paranormal, then you think that you could just upload it and it would find the paranormal evidence to make it better for all of us paranormal investigators.
Yeah, I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, they got AI for everything else. I mean, they should be able to do that. This is one of the questions my editor gave me. Do you use like Ouija boards or anything like that?
I have. You mentioned your editor gave it to you. You don't like this question, or are you something that she's specifically into, or?
We both come up with the questions, and this was one of her questions.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. It's not a question that you didn't want to ask.
No, it's not. Yeah.
I did want to. Yeah, it just came from her. Okay.
Yeah.
I use Ouija boards. I don't use them always. I have used them. I can use them. I actually went out with another group, and they were very against using a Ouija board. I've had some good evidence with them. It's really about doing a proper opening and a proper closing. And again, you don't want to have something attached to you. And I think that's mainly the thing that you want to try to avoid with a Ouija board. A Ouija board is a tool. All the paranormal investigating devices are tools. And then anyone who's into witchcraft or whatever, just because you have a pendulum, or if you're into voodoo, if you have a puppet, it doesn't mean that it's going to do something bad or evil. If you want to use it for nefarious purposes, or if you're asking for some evil to come into your life, you can get that to come into your area, but you can use them in a better way so that you're only bringing in benevolent spirits. They make Ouija boards. I looked, the last one I was at the store, and it said ages 8 and up. It's like made by Milton Bradley. And you can just go online and print out a board. It's just going to be a piece of paper. Or you can get one that's very ancient and has been cursed. So there's various degrees of Ouija boards.
I guess that's just a personal preference on that, using the Ouija.
Do you use Ouija boards?
Nah, I don't mess with them.
Not at all?
No, I don't.
So if me and you went out and we couldn't arrange to have us do a Ouija board session together somewhere?
Probably not. I'm going to be honest with you, probably not. That's something I don't even want to mess with.
And why is that?
I just afraid that something will come up that I don't want to be a part of. I've heard too many horror stories over them. I don't want something coming out and attaching to me, and it's going to be very, very hard to get rid of. That's why I just said, I won't mess with that.
I haven't had any issues with them, but I don't use them all the time. And definitely make sure I do a proper opening and closing when I do a Ouija board session.
If I may say, I think a lot of people look at it as a game instead of what it is. And I think they don't really understand opening a portal is what they're doing when they use it. And they don't treat it the way it should be treated, or close it properly, or they dispose of it in a way that it's not supposed to be done, and then it creates another issue. And I think people just don't know what they're doing, and I think that's the problem.
I think you're exactly right, and I think just making sure that you do a proper opening and closing when you do a Ouija board session can help save you all the trouble. And also just how you store the Ouija board too. Like you said, if you don't open and close properly and you have it in your house not stored properly, you could be asking for a lot of trouble. But it is crazy to me. You can buy a Milton Bradley ages 8 and up. Here you go, kid. And then they could ruin their life.
Yeah. Now the next question is again from my editor, just because she loves this medium chip coffee. I'm sure you heard of him. They want to know, do you use mediums?
I am not a psychic medium. One of the members of my team is a psychic medium, so we'll use him. I've worked with others in the past as well, and it's always good to have, I like to have a diversified team. So you want to have someone who has different skill sets. Ideally, I have a demonologist on the team, or one of my team members is a cryptid expert, and then I have a psychic medium, and then it's good to have just a fighter, and then a guy who's good with holding a boom mic or with equipment. And then just a diversified group is good for a paranormal investigation team. But yeah, I think having a psychic medium is good because they can help you figure out where the energy is coming from. They can speak to the spirits and just make things a little easier. I actually talked to a practicing witch who's also a psychic medium, and she said that you can get better with the skill. I'm not a psychic medium, but I've definitely been places where I kind of feel a presence. I feel like an energy. Or you'll go to a haunted place and you have that hard to describe emotion that you have, a feeling. Yeah. And she says that that's like the start of it, and then if you can channel that, you can learn some things, and there's some skills and stuff you can learn. I bought a pendulum and I started doing stuff with that. But yeah, I'm not a psychic medium.
I don't claim I am, but I've been in situations where I felt like the hair on your arm will raise up, on your back of your neck will raise up. You can just sometimes feel a presence there.
That's right. You don't always need to have a psychic medium to feel a presence. They might have just 1 or 10 steps further than that and have an intuition of knowledge of something that went down.
Have you ever come into a ghost or spirit and found it demonic?
So definitely the opposite happened. I went to investigate a private residence, and she said that she had a demon, and we found it to be more of a poltergeist or a trickster spirit. We didn't think it was demonic after doing an investigation. I think she was able to have a peace of mind knowing that it wasn't demonic. I have not really run into much demonic. I did go one time to an abandoned mill, and there was some pentagrams and stuff. We just got out of there. basically we saw rituals. We didn't stick around. I probably could have found a demon there. I have to go back and look at the footage. We found some stuff before we got to the room with the painted pentagram on the ground. There's one time I was hiking too, and we found a pentagram, and they kind of had like dolls, and there was, I don't know if it was blood or paint, but it looked like blood. But there was definitely some ritual. We went hiking one time and found that. But yeah, again, we didn't really stick around to mess with it. I'm not actively looking for demons.
Yeah.
If I can help someone, especially to find out it's not a demon, or if I find it is a demon, I can get an expert to kind of help out. And again, I'd like to become a demonologist. It's not the top priority. I'm pretty busy, and I don't know how long it would take to become a demonologist.
Yeah. Do you know how long it would take?
No, I just know I don't want to mess with. I have had interactions with them, and I don't want to have any further contact with them. I'm good.
I guess that about answers my next question. I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think it's possible for a person or people to create a real haunting by performing rituals?
I think you definitely can. We just talked about the Ouija board, right?
Yeah.
You can probably open a portal with that. I mean, that's probably a more basic one that you can do without knowing any witchcraft or knowing rituals. If you really try and you look up different rituals and learn all about it, you can definitely summon some evil if you want to. I just looked up, you can get a diploma in modern demonology for $44 at paralearning.org. So I might look at this, see how long it takes. Maybe next time we speak, I'll be a demonologist.
It might be. Go for it. I mean, yeah, I asked that because many documentary I done on Crybaby Bridge in Anderson. When we went out there, we found pentagrams and other satanic markings out there where people just go out there, and we found where they had burned out there before, the leftovers of a burn. I don't know what they burned.
It looked like a wedding veil, to be honest.
Yeah, it looked like a white wedding veil. That part of it was white and the other part was black where it was burned. But that's the reason I asked that, but because we done the most research we could on that bridge from the DOT, Anderson County Museum. There's just not much on that bridge. You have to really dig to get the information on that bridge. 3 to 6 months to get everything to dig on that. People were just like, why you want to investigate this? Because everybody says it's haunted. I'm going to find out if it's really haunted or it's just people making stories up.
We went and investigated the same bridge a number of years ago, and we went to Nightmare Hollow, which is a haunted attraction, and we're just talking to guests. We found this group of, I guess they were high school students at the time, and they said, oh, we went to Crybaby Bridge, and they were telling us all the legends and whatnot, but they actually got baby prints on their car. You put baby powder on the car, and you get baby prints on it. So we actually went and tried to put baby powder on our car and try to get baby prints to show up. There seems to be multiple legends. I'm definitely going to watch your documentary and see what kind of research you got out of that. But I watched, there's a YouTube clip of some guy driving a car, like it's like I killed your baby or something.
See, there's a big misconception about that. I'm going to go and tell you now. I don't know if we're talking about the same Crybaby Bridge, but you can't drive across it.
3 Crybaby Bridges.
Well, I'm talking about one in Anderson. One in Anderson, you can't drive across.
You could drive across it until they built that new road.
Yeah, but I'm saying
when they built that other road, then they sold it.
So that's the one we investigated. Underneath, there's someone painted like Devil Town on it, and you can walk across it, but you can't drive across it. Yeah, in fact, we parked our car, but we had to park it away from the bridge. You couldn't even actually see the bridge because there's just no way to get a car over there. I don't know. There is multiple Crybaby bridges because there's one, but he might have been talking about a different bridge, but we went and investigated the one that you did the research on, but the story we got, now that you're saying that, I wonder if he's talking about another Crybaby bridge, because the YouTube video I watched might not have been the same bridge.
Everyone, I always get them scratching my head when they say that, and I'm like, well, every time I go out there, you ain't never been able to drive across that bridge, because it's been wood growed it up, and they got it fenced off.
But now I drove across it, but it was in the 1980s.
Yeah, that's ancient times.
Does your documentary say the last time that you were able to drive across it?
I believe I put on there built the new bridge.
I think they built the new bridge in 1988, 89, somewhere in there.
Right in there.
It was in the 80s. It was in the 80s.
Well, the kids I talked to, they were probably around 16 years old, so there's no way that they would have been able to drive across it.
If they 16-year-olds now, no, they ain't drove across it.
But there's 3 of them in South
Yeah,
Carolina.
there's 3 different crybaby bridges, but I'm pretty sure we're talking about the one in Anderson.
Yeah.
Well, there's even more than that because there's crybaby bridges in many states. Every state has a crybaby bridge.
There's 3 just in South Carolina, but there's a legend like that in every state.
I'm starting to think that I investigated a story from another crybaby bridge and then investigated a different crybaby bridge for that story. Yet we still got some evidence that seemed to go with the original story. So I don't know.
The one in Anderson, they said before they blocked it off, you would park your car on the bridge, turn your car off, put your keys on top of the car, get out, and I killed your baby 3 times. And the car was supposed to, the lights would come on and the car would lock and a whole bunch of other things would happen. It was crazy, some of the stories they said about that.
Yeah. It makes me want to go investigate the other 2 crybaby bridges in South Carolina and go back to this one too.
In my documentary, we didn't actually do an investigation. I just went over the facts of it and shown the bridge and everything. We went out and walked on the bridge. You see, we done a little skid or whatever, but just to go with the stories of the bridge, we left it up to the viewers to decide, do you think it's haunted or not? We didn't do an actual paranormal investigation of it.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to watch your documentary. I'm really excited about that.
I appreciate it. Before we go any farther, I have to do this. If you like what you see, hit the follow button. Give me a thumbs up down there. Leave a what?
Follow him.
Follow him. Go to him. Truth Searchers, Paranormal Investigators. Follow him. Give him a big thumbs up. All right. Okay. Yeah, I lost my place, but here we go. Well, that's about the same question as that one, but.
Okay, well, if it's the same, we don't need to ask it again.
Yeah, this is one I'm really interested in hearing about. Without divulging any client information, I'm not interested in that. What is the scariest place you have ever investigated?
For me, and I stopped doing this now, but earlier in my paranormal investigation career, we would go investigate places that we weren't supposed to be. So now we get permission. It's always like scary when you're in a place that you shouldn't be, worried about getting trespassing or whatnot. Yeah. But we start going into this abandoned mill. We went in there and we started seeing evidence we saw like needles, and then we saw just clothing and stuff, and then we saw people. And I guess we just got out of there because it was very scary. And I guess I find that I'm more scared of people than I am spirits or anything. So when you find like living humans that shouldn't be we shouldn't have been there, they shouldn't have been there, they were maybe they're living there or they go there and did drugs or whatever. So that was the scariest encounter I've ever had.
I had an uncle. He was a security guard at one of the closed down mills. I go ahead and say which one it was because they don't even own it no more. It used to be the old West Point Stevens mill in Seneca, old cotton mill. He said, man, you see all kind of things up in there. All kind of shadows, mist, and everything up in there. Place has a right to be haunted. There's people that's been killed up in there, work accidents. They had some horrific horror stories that happened up in there. So I'm pretty sure there was stuff that goes on up in there. And I don't see how he would do it. This is kind of funny. He would sit around and watch his god-awful horror movies by himself and then go around walking around that place. I'm like, how in the world did you do that? I couldn't do it. Some of them horror movies he'd watch. I wouldn't go walking around in that dark place after that. No. I know there's been a lot of uptick in sightings of ghosts and paranormal stuff. Do you think the reasoning behind that is because there's more people with phones and cameras out there? Or
yeah, I think having more phones, more cameras, but also just the world we live in now, there seems to be more of everyone. And then you think about more people die every day. The longer time progresses, there's going to be more spirits around. How many people have died? I think it's been 100 billion people have ever been born and died currently, and that number is only going up. Let's just say even 1% of everyone who's ever been born and died is still lingering around as a spirit, then, you know, if you're in a room with 7 people, odds are there's a spirit in your presence.
Yeah.
I think spirits are more abundant than people realize. Not all of them are able to communicate or want to communicate. But yeah, having more devices, having more technology can create more ways to gather evidence.
If you can search online all day long, like on TikTok, and you can see all kind of paranormal stuff, which some of you can obviously tell is fake. I mean, people
Right.
doing it to get views.
I love watching like Nuke's Top 5, and there's a couple other channels that are similar. What's that?
Slap ham.
Slapped Ham and Nuke's Top 5 are pretty good.
This is a question I didn't send you, and I don't know if you know the answer, but do you believe that objects can be haunted? Like the Annabelle doll, for example. Do you think there's objects like that people may have that's haunted?
Yeah, I do think that you can have a haunted object, a spirit vessel, and I even collect them a little bit. You just got to make sure that you store them properly, and, you know, I have Faraday boxes and I put them in. And I went to a home that there was a spirit, and we brought just a doll and tried to get the spirit to infiltrate that object and to take it away then. So I have that doll. And like I said, I had my car get infiltrated by a dark past, or a car, you know, as an object. They can latch on a human. I think they can latch onto an object as well. There's no reason that, you know, your cell phone or whatever you're carrying around, you know, your shoes, it's possible that you can get negative energy on an object, I believe. Yeah. But yes, smudging and you know, doing different rituals to try to get rid of them.
How can people get in contact with you if they want to have their houses or business investigated?
We have our Facebook group, True Searchers, Paranormal Investigators. You can send me a message on Messenger, but also I believe truesearchers.net. You can get contact there as well.
Add that information in the info after the video is done. And I apologize. I will get your name corrected once this interview is done. When I made the Rumble live chat, I forgot Searchers. Sorry.
Oh, what'd you put?
Truth Paranormal.
What's that right now?
Yeah, so I'll
Okay.
get that corrected as soon as this.
Do you think that's a better name?
I
think
was
Truth
just
Paranormal's
my
better?
fingers was flying, and I was trying to get everything done. And
We worked with different names, but now I guess I have a logo with TSPI, so I guess that's what we're going with. But that's really what we're after, is the truth, and it doesn't always have to be paranormal. It's whatever the truth is. So that's why I kind of did Truth Searchers. Truth Seekers is like everyone uses that, and so Truth Searchers, we're the only Truth Searchers.
everybody says they seek the truth, but you don't see a lot of people searching for it.
Exactly, and then we're searching. And I always say, that's one of my mottos, is be a searcher. They're seeking the truth, but yeah, we're searching for the truth.
I don't know if I asked this or not. What was your most terrifying encounter?
Yeah, I think that abandoned mill where we found humans, there were some needles,
Yeah.
and also another time we found demonic pentagrams. One time I was in St. Louis, and I went by this bridge, and basically I found, I guess it was homeless. They were doing like drugs with needles. They kind of looked like zombies. Like, I don't know what drug they were using or something. Their skin didn't look right. It was terrifying, and
That sounds
I
like
ran. I
feral
got out of
people.
there. What's that?
Sound like she said it sounded like feral people. Like he
Well,
talked
Yeah,
you may have
it's
been
basically-
Appalachian-
Yeah.
the Appalachian
It's basically like I
feral
ran into
people.
like a feral camp or something. Like I said, people scare me more than I would do a Ouija board any day than run into a deranged person. I think that's the scariest thing for me, is someone who is evil, who wants to do harm to you.
There's a lot of craziness in the world. You don't know who you're running up on.
It used to be when I was a kid, someone ring the doorbell, you're like, hey, you know, and they're trying to sell candy. Nowadays, someone rings my doorbell, I'm like, uh-oh, who's there?
Or it's like you're driving down the road and you see somebody's got a flat tire. Back in the day when I was growing up, you stop and help the person. Now it's like, I don't know, man.
The idea, though, of helping someone out who needs help is like, you want to do that. But I watched too many horror movies of picking up a hitchhiker and
Yeah.
something evil happening or murder.
Well, before we let you go, we'll tell you a little bit about our experience. We used to live in a haunted house. She grew up in the house. Her daddy bought the house. We think it was on a
Well,
Old Civil War battle land.
when he bought it new, so it wasn't like an older house. He bought it while it was being built.
We believe the land was haunted. I guess there was an old Civil War battle there. You'd hear things all the time. When we try to capture them, I don't know how he done it, or her, whoever.
I've seen the apparition one
Well,
time.
okay. And they were smart when we would try to capture this thing like on an EVP or on a camcorder or something. Nothing. But as soon as you turn it off, they'll start acting up. It's like, really? And they knew, and that would get on my nerves. It's like, why can't I capture you to show people, hey, this stuff's here? Because people wouldn't believe us.
I'll charge a camera or I'll charge some device, and then all of a sudden you're out there and it dies, and it's like I just charged this thing,
Yeah.
and it happens a lot. Just
We
battery
had
drain.
that happen a lot too.
My most irritating experience, it didn't scare me. It just kind of, like, really? I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom. The actual light switch turned off, and I'm like, really? You can't leave me alone when I'm in the bathroom? Come on. One time I got mad at it. I said, if you don't stop, I'm going to start making you pay some rent. It stopped for a little bit, then it come back. I guess it figured out how you going to make me pay rent.
Well, I mean, there was things that happened ever since I was a child in that house, and I would tell my mom and dad, and they were like, there's nothing here. And I'm like, yeah, there is. And no, there's not. And no, there's nothing here. And it'd be, everybody else is going to bed in the house, and I would wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would hear something walking up and down the hallway, but I would never see anything. And then you would hear it go into the kitchen, mess around in the silverware drawer, and then walk right back up the hallway, and it would do that all not long until somebody woke up. And we would have silverware missing, and it would wind up in the weirdest places. Mama thought I was just sticking the spoons under the couch. It was weird. But it was nice. It never really done anything purposefully to try to scare us.
Yeah, it never, like, scratched us or anything. It would just be an annoyance.
Most spirits are friendly, and I like to believe that most people are good people, and then there's just some bad ones, and same with spirits. And then you can run into an occasional evil spirit. But yeah, it's good to know that spirit you had in your house seemed to be friendly.
Yeah, and my house wasn't the only one that had activity. The house behind me, the lady, before she passed, she had told me that she had activity there. The house across from us had activity, and another house that was diagonal from us, across from us, had activity. But I found that when it started ramping up, I would just say, look, I know you're here. Unless you're going to start cleaning up the house, you need to leave. I know you're here. And then it was, okay, it was gone for about 2 or 3 months. And then it would start back again. I'm like, okay, I know you're here. It's like it wanted validation.
It's more common than people know. That's one of the things I like to go out is ask people, hey, what paranormal experience have you had? And some of the craziest stories is like, oh, I don't believe in any of this stuff, but this one time, and then they tell me the most wild, crazy paranormal experience they ever had. There's plenty of people who have grown up in haunted houses. Even new buildings, just because you tear down a haunted house and build a new house doesn't mean that spirit isn't still lingering.
I always felt like the spirit was tied to the land because it was a cow pasture before it was developed. And they actually created a mini little swamp in the area because when they put the road in, they cut through a little creek to put the road in there. And
it was cow pasture. You think there's a lot of cows that died too, and some of them might be spirits too. I mean, people always talk about human spirits, but who's to say that there isn't a bunch of cows that are roaming around the land?
I thought about that.
A lot of people talk to me about their pets, their dogs and their cats that died. They'll talk about how they'll get in bed and their cat always used to lay in a certain spot, and they can look down and they can see an indentation on the bed. So I definitely have a lot of people who have haunted dogs and cats, and I've done a little bit of research with fish even. I have a guy who's a big fisherman, and I'll go out with him on his boat, and I'll take some paranormal equipment to try to measure fish ghosts. I've actually was designing an experiment trying to get these photographic plates that we can measure the CDP or the corona discharge of like a dead fish. He'll capture the fish, and I can kill it to try to measure the corona discharge as it dies, and then we'll cook the fish. I don't just try to kill fish for no reason, as much as it's nice to have for paranormal experiments, but I can cook it up then and eat it.
Have you ever
And, I like
investigated
to eat
Hartwell
fish.
Lake?
Have you ever investigated what?
Hartwell Lake.
Lake Hartwell. I have not. Isn't there an island? I think it's called Slave Island there.
There's one
Or is that
island
different?
there that is the only above the water spot for a old plantation. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure where it's at on Lake Hartwell, but there's been a lot of reported activity on that island and in the surrounding water, the ghost lights in the water.
Yeah, I would definitely love to go investigate that. And I gotta get my buddy. He has a boat, and we can go on Lake Hartwell and go fishing, and I can bring a lot of my paranormal equipment.
I think that
Something to
would be
do.
interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Now, my next question is, what would you recommend to anybody who wanted to start ghost hunting? How would you recommend them starting out? Say they didn't have a lot of equipment or whatever.
You don't really even need any equipment. Everyone has smartphones. You can take your smartphone, you can record audio, take some photos, take a pen and paper. You write down the temperature that you started with, any hot or cold spots, anything you see. If you have an audio device, you can take that and you can do an EVP session with your audio device, audio recorder. But yeah, my number one rule for paranormal investigation is to not go alone. My number two is to always bring a flashlight. You can do a flashlight test, try to see if a spirit can turn on and off the flashlight, ask yes or no questions for that, record some audio. If you're going to go do a paranormal investigation for 10 minutes, you're probably not going to find something. If you do it for a whole night, you might find something. The more time you spend. An IR camera would be the next thing. You can set it up. You can buy one for probably less than $100, even used. There's a whole bunch of devices. You don't have to have the top of the line paranormal equipment to go do an investigation. You can go with just a flashlight and a buddy and go investigate.
I know this about the flashlight because I went out there with somebody else at Crybaby Bridge. It had nothing to do with paranormal, but I'm glad we had the flashlight with us because I heard something moving around in the bushes, and it was a big old snake. I said, whoa, y'all back up. This ain't paranormal. Back up. You will be paranormal. Back up. Other than having it for paranormal reasons, it's good to have there for safety reasons. A flashlight, that'll help you out a lot.
Gotta have a flashlight.
I would like to add that while finding places to go by using the stories is a good starting point, but to base everything off of that, I wouldn't. Simply because of some of the places we went on tours, Savannah,
Yeah.
and the ghost tour guide kept trying to say that this was paranormal ghostly and that was paranormal ghostly, and it was quite obviously staged. And then he kept trying to say that the smell was the dead pirates, and I'm like, no, it ain't. It's a paper mill up the road. He got so mad at me.
Yeah, a lot of these ghost tours, they just lie to you, or just they're doing
Yeah.
entertainment or something, not having
The
based in facts or.
Yeah, the one in Savannah that we went on, there's a certain hotel down there where the spirit supposedly looking out the window, whatever. And we drove up on it because it was in a little bus. They took it around in a little bus. And they said, look, there it is. And it was a cardboard cutout. It was like,
Or a mannequin.
it looked like a cardboard cutout. They just had it sticking up there in the window trying to tell everybody it was a ghost. I was like, no, come on.
And a lot of the places, they like steal stories that aren't even from the area, or like they tell you like it's just some nonsense.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard about the Walgreens down there in Savannah. The Walgreens are CVS. They will not open it. When it gets dark, they close it. Because there's so much paranormal activity. All the employees that quit after dark, they won't stay in there.
I mean, they've got security footage of
Yeah.
things flying off the shelf.
Yeah, I usually go down to Savannah about once a year, so I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, it's either CVS or Walgreens.
Yeah, we walked right by and it was like 8 o'clock at night and it was closed.
Yeah, it's a corner pharmacy.
CVS
But
closed at 8 o'clock.
said, if it gets dark at 5 o'clock, we close.
Yeah, they closed it.
Something's really wrong if a CVS is closed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your thoughts and letting us interview you.
Yeah, let's stay in contact, and hey, maybe one day we can go out and do a paranormal investigation together. Do a Ouija board session.
Did you say you had a cryptid expert on your team?
Yeah, Derek Henderson.
Something we could do a show with him one day, because
that'd be fun.
Too.
When I go with him, I feel like we don't find any evidence. I find more evidence of spirits, but he's said he's seen Bigfoot, and he's all about finding local cryptids. We even went looking for the South Carolina Black Panther, which is a cryptid because there's really no Black Panthers in South Carolina. Lizard Man is another one.
There was a person I was watching 2-3 days ago.
We're not going to say no
I
names.
don't want to bash the person, but this is you're gonna laugh when you hear this. They swear up and down that there is a Bigfoot downtown Atlanta.
Bigfoot or Dogman?
Bigfoot or Dogman downtown Atlanta, and I'm sitting there thinking, I said, I don't see Bigfoot or Dogman crossing the 20-lane freeway downtown Atlanta. Atlanta is never not busy.
There'd be a lot of eyewitnesses, and I'd love to see a video of that, a Bigfoot crossing.
I tried to find it, and I'm not able to find it.
Well, when you go into the Bigfoot community, there's a whole bunch of wild theories and speculation.
Yeah, there's a lot more fake ones out there than the real ones, and it's giving it all a bad name, and it's just like people just doing something to be funny. I guess that's why they're doing it.
They're doing it just to get the clicks, and they're making it harder on the real pioneers.
Like Sam and Colby, they just seem to be in it for the clicks. I could probably go on a rant about Sam and Colby, but I don't know. Maybe some of your guests are big Sam and Colby fans, so I don't want to.
Well, I feel sorry for them. They are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The ones we watch Jason Hawes when he was on.
Dead Files,
Dead Files. We watched
Cindy
Dead Files, good one.
We even watched the Ghost Brothers when they was on.
Oh yeah, I like Ghost Brothers. Good show.
We watch Dalen on YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube now. We even did watch some Zach Baggins, and what's that other one that was really.
I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Zach Baggins too. I watched a lot of early Ghost Adventures.
And then the other one, Most Haunted, with Derek Acor.
Yeah, I love the show.
He got really wild.
But it was, you could tell it was scripted, but I loved it anyway.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
I don't know. His programs now are different than when he first started.
Well, you think about it, they have 27 seasons, over 270 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be able to generate that much content, it ends up being what it ends up being.
I mean, I look at it like this. He's been in it years and years, and yes, I still watch this show when there's new episodes, but he has learned to do what I call play the game. He's learned how to cater to the audience, and he still gets the views, and that's why he's still on TV.
Well, nowadays you watch the most recent one, The House Call. He's sitting at home on Zoom while his team is investigating, so he's not even out there doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. He has some type of weird respiratory thing or something because he's always wearing that mask, or he doesn't really travel that far outside of Vegas or Nevada or whatever. He goes to like 3 or 4 states: California, Arizona, Nevada. You never see him out in South Carolina or anywhere on the East Coast.
I think he attributes it to what we were talking about earlier, not being careful when he was going into some of these places in his early ghost hunting career. And so he was breathing in asbestos and mold and just different things, and it affected his breathing. And I have asthma, so I can certainly see how something like that could do that.
And that's a good public service announcement, and I got to be more cognizant of that myself when I go into these abandoned old places that have who knows what floating in the air. You don't want to breathe in these particles that are going to go inside your lungs, and whether it be asbestos or of particles you're going to breathe in that's going to affect your health.
Well, tell everybody again where to go if they want to contact you.
Check out True Searchers Paranormal Investigators on Facebook, as well as truesearchers.net. We don't charge for investigations as long as you let us film, and we'd like to interview the person that has the experience. We want to investigate sites that have had paranormal activity. If you have evidence of that or you have a story,
We'll definitely get back in touch with you and we'll have some more good conversations. I appreciate you coming
sounds
on.
good. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much for responding and coming on.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll get more people to call you guys up. Can you tell us what areas that you would be willing to go? Like, is it just South Carolina? Would you go into North Georgia?
But yeah, I mean, I guess the closer it is to upstate South Carolina, then we won't charge at all. But if you want us to go out to Arizona, we might need some travel expenses. Yeah. If you pay me to travel, I'll go. If you're in London and you need me to come out, if you buy my plane ticket, I'll come out there. There's a lot of places I haven't been. If you're listening, I'd like to go to Greece. I'm willing to travel. That's all I'll ask for is travel expenses. If it's upstate South Carolina, it's free.
All right, people, you heard it. If you need a home investigator, you know who to call. I hate to use that line, who you going to call, but there you go.
The true searchers. The truth is paranormal. Be a searcher.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Searchercast with myself, Gabe Mathews. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a comment. And I'll catch you on the next investigation.